Chris Stephens.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Host. It's a pleasure to see you in the chair, and I will be, if I could direct the House to my register of members' interests, as I will be raising some issues that are pertinent to that. Now, Mr. Hosey, I have been present at every delegated legislation committee since 2015 discussing the national minimum wage and national minimum wage rates. And year after year, those of us who've argued about age discrimination have been mocked, introduced, and told that we were talking nonsense. We were told we were talking nonsense, that those who are aged 25 or over, we were told they had higher bills of those who were aged 21. And I made the point then that I thought that was a nonsensical position. But I was told that I was talking nonsense. But it turns out, Mr. Hosey, that the Low Pay Commission finally agree with those of us who believe that those who are aged 21 have the same bills as those who are older than them. So I welcome that change. But I wonder if the Minister will take the opportunity on behalf of his colleagues in years gone by, some of whom are in the Cabinet now, I note, Mr. Hosey, to apologise to those of us who have argued the position in relation to age discrimination. However, I note, Mr. Hosey, that age discrimination still exists in relation to national minimum wage rates, because I believe that is a nonsensical position, where you have two workers working beside each other, let's say in a McDonald's franchise, one of them who's 17, the other one person beside him is 37, and they're both flipping hamburgers, then they should be getting paid the exact same for doing the exact same job. And so I hope the Minister will go back and explore with the Low Pay Commission to end future age discrimination, despite the welcome change that they've made, that they've done. And I will give way to a good friend who I served in the Department of Work and Pension Select.
I recognise the fair point that the honourable gentleman is making, but having employed young people myself, is it not right to allow employers the discretion to discriminate between various employees on the basis of their ability and their readiness for work, and indeed to pay a younger employee marginally more for their greater efficiency than another, rather than to constrain them all within the tight rules that he would impose?
I'm grateful for that, and I thank him for that. That already exists, but we are talking about the minimum wage rate, the very bottom floor, and I would say that that should not have age discrimination. He is correct that some employers will have grades and spinal column points within those grades, and that is allowed, and that is around experience. It's around people, how long they've been with that particular employer, and the rest. So that does happen. But I'm afraid when it comes to the actual bottom line and the absolute minimum you pay a worker, I believe that should not be subject to any age discrimination at all when you have two workers beside each other doing the exact same job, and their wage rates are different because of their age, not their experience. And I do think there's a difference between age and experience. Now, I listened intently to the Shadow Front Bench, who is correct about the economic conditions, the fact that in-work poverty still exists, the failures of the government to implement its own report that it asked for by Matthew Taylor, which only 7 of the 59 recommendations have been enacted. Now, I don't want every single one of those recommendations enacted, but to only have 7 out of 59, I think is quite disgraceful. And it is the issues which are driving down low wages in the country is, as the Shadow Minister said, shifts being cancelled, people on bogus, what I would argue is bogus self-employment and on 0-hour contracts. And I note, Mr. Hosey, that all those issues are covered in a private member's bill to be debated on the 26th of April, called the Workers' Rights and Definitions Bill, which is in my name. So I hope that both front benches will welcome that bill and indicate that they are going to support it. Now, in my intervention to the Minister, I think I made a very important point, which was how many UK government workers will benefit from today's delegated legislation. As far as I'm aware, Mr Hosing, to the best of my knowledge, and again I refer to my register of members' interests as chair of the PCS parliamentary group, there are tens of thousands of UK government workers who are paid the national minimum rate, including those, Mr Hosey, those who are employed by the Department of Work and Pensions, and I invite the honourable gentleman who is currently serving on the DWP Select Committee to have a look at that, because I do think that's serious. That you have so many workers in the Department of Work and Pensions who are having to rely on the benefits that they're administrating because they're on the national minimum wage. And so I would invite the Minister to write to all of this committee and tell us how many employees are employed by the government who are being paid the national minimum wage. Not just DWP, but incredibly, I'm told, those employed by HMRC. So those who are employed to chase tax avoidance and evasion may well be employed to tackle all these multinational companies who don't pay the current rate that they should. Some of them being paid the national minimum wage. So perhaps the Minister could perhaps write to us and tell us just how many UK government employees are being paid the national minimum rates, because it's important, because the wage increases that he's announced today are what UK government employees are going to be getting. That will be their only pay increase this year. And I hope that he will go away and take that. And I do want to mention enforcement, because it is important, Mr Hosey, that the government do outline in this delegated legislation that they're laying today how they're going to enforce. Because my concern is there are far too many vacancies in the national minimum wage rate compliance sheet. And perhaps the Minister can tell us how many vacancies there are, because if there are vacancies, then it will lead to the backlog that the Shadow Minister referred to in his remarks of chasing years of unpaid wages. And I hope the Minister will be able to answer those points when he sums up. Thank you.